Hi, Sam from Guitar Village here, and today I'm joined by Manuel Rodríguez. He's going to talk to us a little bit about some of his guitars. So, first up, welcome, and would you like to tell us a little bit about the history behind the company?
Before that, I'm so blessed to be here. I mean, Guitar Village, this is an amazing building from 14th century. I mean, I feel myself like in a big old ship with all this old wood here. So congratulations. This place is the Prado Museum of the guitars. So I'm very thrilled to be here. Thank you for this invitation.
Oh, no problem at all, and thank you very much. Yeah, so your company, you're the second oldest manufacturer of guitars in Spain.
Well, not me. It's my grandfather that started. But anyway, it's 118 years of history of this brand. And it comes up from San Fernando, Cádiz. My grandfather before making guitars, had a fishing store. And in the First World War, a big German sea vessel sank. People were afraid to eat fish because 1,000 soldiers passed away. And then my grandfather went bankrupt. And my great-grandfather, Los Marecki, was the Paco Lucia at that time, 1890s, was playing flamenco for the Tsar of Russia. So they need a guitar maker to fix their guitars. So my grandfather started making guitars. Thanks of that German ship, I wouldn't be here right now with you guys. That's life.
That is, absolutely. So
after that, my grandfather went to Madrid. Madrid is the oldest school of the will of the classical guitar construction. So he worked for Ramirez, and he had a small workshop in Lavapiés, downtown Madrid, Ministerial Street. And then the Civil War came up, and then we didn't have any wood. So he was going to the main Abastos market, call it, and getting this wood, the coffee boxes from Brazil, getting this amazing wood. I'll show you later the guitar. So we are such an old brand with this amazing woods that it's unique, that you cannot get any more in the world. And then my father started making guitars with my grandfather. He went to the US in 1955, just married, $100, no English, of small tools, and went to LA to make guitars for the Hollywood industry. I was born there, and we lived there for 20 years. We still have the building there, rented, our real estate. And from there, Japanese competition like Yamaha and all these big brands came in 1970s. And then when Franco died, dictatorship in Spain, we came back from LA to Madrid. And then in Madrid, we started to make guitars there. I was 18 years old. And I said to my dad, hey, Dad, my guitars are not moving. So I said, okay. In Valencia, they make some cheap instruments for us. I was making the expensive guitars. I took my own car, giving English classes I bought it with. And I came to the UK, 1975, 1980s. And at that time, it was Maurice Summerfield with the Classical Guitar Magazine, Guitar International. England was amazing with the classical guitar. We had John Williams, David Russell, all these big guys playing our instruments. And from big orders came up. And then my dad bought me a big truck. And with that truck, we put 1,000 guitars all around Europe, yellow pages and maps. That was like the Amazon time.
So you were, just to clarify, so you were driving around in an old truck.
That's right.
Taking guitars to dealers.
That's right. Making my own guitars. And 2 months, 20,000 kilometers all around Europe, selling the instruments. Wow. We were not in a community, in a European community, so we had to pay the VAT in each border. Remember all the strikes in Dover, crossing from Calais to Dover with my truck. Fantastic experience. You know why? Because this industry is about people. Shaking hands is the contract.
Yeah.
And music is something that the human being needs. And we're so blessed and fortunate to work in this industry because there's still people remembering me in Europe with that long hair, that truck, yellow pages, and bringing the guitar. So it's a wonderful industry.
I wish some of our other reps would take note of that as well. Turn up with a van load of guitars and we'll buy them.
Yes, it was wonderful. And I'm here now to show you our instruments, not like those days with the van, but with my Geba great sales team, going to the best key dealers to explain you guys what we make, the woods, and the history of our brand.
Brilliant. Well, speaking of woods, let's talk about them. So can you talk us through some of the options with the tone woods, maybe the back and sides to start with?
Okay. Do you mind we start with the more expensive ones and then we go down to the Magistral? Is that okay?
Absolutely,
okay.
Yeah.
For example, this guitar is the one I spoke before about the woods. This is from the coffee boxes from 1936. You can't get this wood anymore. And it's all handmade. It takes about 3 months to make. This guitar is signed by Jimmy Carter. And to help humanity, what I do is auction guitars with famous players, Carlos Santana, Sting, all these guys sign these instruments, and then we auction them, and with also Antonio Banderas. And that's the way we help humanity. I don't have $100,000, but I have the connection of the musician. I make the guitar, and then we auction them, and we help people around the world.
It's a great thing to do.
And then these guitars are about $20,000, or euros more or less. And we have a more cheaper version, my own instrument, about 6,000 pounds, same woods, for you to show to your customers.
Brilliant. This is an incredible guitar. I am really worried about touching that signature on the back as well.
Well, the good thing of us is that we have about 500 sets of this wood. And being such an old brand, we can give, this is our goal, this is our bank.
Yeah.
And that's what we offer to our customers. We want to make people happy, make the best instrument for the best musicians.
Brilliant. It's, can you tell us a little bit about this guitar we've got next to it
Yes.
as well?
Gewa engineers music. I engineer guitars. I want to make things different in the classical guitar world because it's a very conservative niche. So what we try to do is we call this Café Olé. This means coffee is cedar and milk is spruce. Mixing this combination, we get an amazing sound of very even trebles and basses with this mix. No feedback because on stage they see the brand. And then you listen when you play from this sound hole. And we put this Fishman pickup with mic, tuner, and you can mix 4-band. And it's an amazing guitar. I mean, Carlos Santana plays this guitar, Jackson Brown, even Stevie Wonder has one of these flamenco guitars, same shape. So it's something unique, and it's a big boom right now with this model. That we would love you to have this in your store.
Absolutely.
We have versions of narrow body, electric neck, and this is a normal. And we have a steel string version on this instrument. So I'm always trying to invent new designs of instruments because when you have evolution, the nylon string is just so conservative, and yeah, we've having great success.
Brilliant. Now, just before you put this guitar down, so we've got a combination here of spruce and cedar. How different are spruce tops and cedar tops? How much difference they make tonally, I mean?
Okay, spruce tops is, it's like the violins. It lasts a long time. I mean, violins, for example, you have violins for 300 years with spruce tops. And the spruce is always getting better. Cedar is a great, very fast reaction at the beginning for low-price guitars, but then in 50 or 60 years, it dies because more soft. The stiffness of the spruce is better. And the more narrow the grain is, the better it sounds. So when the tree grows slow, we get better quality sound. If the grain is too wide, the trebles and the basses are not so even. So it's very important when you select a guitar, see the grain of the tops. The more narrow, the better. The wider, it's worse.
Okay, that's very interesting. So that's the top cupboard. Now, can you tell us a little bit about some of your finishes?
Okay, we use water finish. We're very ecological. We use fallen trees. We're even putting seeds on our guitars. So when you buy an MR guitar, you can plant a tree.
Wow.
So we think in that in the future because we need more trees on this planet. You know, we consume, we burn so many fossil gas, so we need to get more green. So we are very, very sensible with the environment. So we use water varnish. This is an oil finish, and it's good because it sounds. Look at this finish. It's open pores, so it's light for the instrument, and it gets better sound. It's free. And it's liberal. When you put this thick gloss finish, you're killing the sound. And it's more heavy. The lighter the guitar is, the better it sounds.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people will say. Now, can we just turn this around? Just have a quick look at the back again. So this is rosewood back and sides?
That's rosewood, laminate back and sides. We have another version made in Spain with mahogany from 1930s also, from my grandfather, all solid. So that's the one we're going to want to ship you in the future.
Yeah, so laminate, and that helps cut back on some feedback?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And then we have this shape here. Why? Because it's more comfortable to put your thumb and to play down here. It's just a small feature here, but it really helps to play down here easy on the trebles.
Yeah.
And for bossa nova music, Latino music, this guitar is fantastic because they use a lot of trebles down here and the feedback because you play on stage. And it's good branding for the MR.
How do you find that different back and side woods react tonally? You know, like say rosewood versus mahogany?
For example, it depends on the instrument you make. I mean, just to give you, McAfee guitars. McAfee has been always laminated back and sides, always, never solid. For a lower price guitar, a decent price, we recommend back and sides laminated, especially on cutaway guitars. We found out that laminated back and sides sound better than solid back and sides.
With the cutaway.
With a cutaway. And with a normal solid instrument, you need to put high quality woods back and sides. Now, the problem that we have in the future is that when you buy these solid guitars, there's no more wood. So what you're buying is a piece of art, wood that's going to disappear, and the guitar lasts for 100 years. So it's like your second wife. You have to make love with it, play it, grab it, and you need to have that type of passion. So, I mean, when you buy a decent guitar, you have to go to a store like this, play them, try them, because it's very personal. Each single guitar sounds different. It's like a human being. It's different.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk a little bit about, let's get under the hood a bit. So talk a little bit about bracing.
Okay.
Can you tell us, how bracing affects the guitar?
Well, that's the soul of the instrument. I mean, for example, we put our tops like 2 millimeters thickness, and we have this fan bracing that crosses that my father invented. We also have the mobile bridge. The mobile bridge, the same like the electrical guitar, that each slot moves manually. On the book that I gave you, you have the explanation. My dad invented this in 1962, and it's the only mobile bridge, same like the electrical guitar system, but manually, so we get the best tuning. So we use this cross fan, and also in the lower price, the Taurus style. That's the 7 fan. We like to make it simple. I think the secret is more on the thickness of the top than these fancy bracing patterns.
Okay.
So the thinner, the better. Of course, we have the risk of cracks. So we like to make it thin tops, but have more reinforcement bracing. Another clue, if you use spruce top, use cedar bracing.
Okay.
Because you have that compensation. The cedar bracing is more soft and the spruce is more stiff. So you get that balance. When you use a cedar top, use spruce bracing.
So you've
That's
got
the
the
way.
strength there.
That's my secrets. I'm sharing it to everyone. Everything has been invented.
Stop recording now.
No. Go ahead. So all these things has been invented, but I share my secrets. They will copy me. I don't care. But people need to know these things when you buy an MR guitar.
Absolutely.
Because being 118 years of history, I'm so fortunate to know all these secrets.
Yeah. So it's all been passed down through the generations.
That's
then.
right. That's right.
And you come up with a few ideas of yourself. Now, let's take a look at one of the limited models we've
Sure.
got just behind us. So this is a limited edition model. What can you tell us about it?
Okay, this is wood from the wine cellar of my grandfather. It's amazing. We did only 100 limited edition. And it's only for 100 guitars. And they all sold out in just 6 months. And the interesting thing is that it's a very light instrument. We use this water finish, open pore, and beautiful German machine heads with this logo there. As I try to explain, we make all European. We must protect our European industry, okay? Especially nowadays, because we need to keep this. I mean, Europe is I would say, the place that the guitar was invented. Spanish guitars, Christopher Columbus went to the US with a viola, similar as a guitar, and then Martin started to make guitars. But Spain is the seed where we invented this guitar. And then the evolution came up with Fender, Gibson. My dad worked with Leo Fender in LA in 1955 because they shared things in the industry. And it was very interesting, how my dad went there with very few resources, not knowing any English, right?
Yeah.
So from his passion, he passed me this. So I've tried to make these beautiful limited editions with Pluma binding, all this wood, 12 holes bridge. Why do we do this? Because we get more pressure angle on the bone. So when there's more pressure here, we get more volume on the sound of the instrument. These are vintage cowbone saddles. So just more vintage style. Ebony, the more dark the ebony, the older the ebony is. When you see an ebony finger with white spots, that's a young tree. So the older the tree is, the more black is the ebony. And this piece of wood takes 100 years to grow. And ebony is the heaviest wood in the earth. It sinks, it's so dense. So we need to get the most darkest ebony, and we do it with Bob Taylor and his Madinta resources in Africa and Cameroon.
Yes, yeah, I've spoken to Bob about this actually quite a bit. So what are we going to do when the ebony runs out then? Do you think that's realistic for you?
You know what? What Bob is doing is fantastic because he's creating all these resources for the future. And that's what I'm doing with the seeds. We need to plant trees. I mean, that's the reason why we use fallen trees. I have a project with ukuleles in Yucatan. We're going to use plastics from the sea, like ovation, back and sides, using plastics. We're going to use cocoa with coconuts, because we're going to give jobs to the Yucatan women because they need to have jobs. And we're going to teach them to make ukuleles using their waste wood and clean their beaches. So that's the ideas we need to do to protect our planet, as he's doing with the ebony. So thank God Bob got this project. We won't be here, but for the next generations, we'll have ebony, because it takes a long time. It's very slow growth.
Brilliant. Let's have a look at the back and sides just really quickly on this, because this is an incredible
Thank you.
looking guitar. So this is walnut back and sides.
That's right.
The tree was first harvested in 1955.
That's right. That's right.
And you can see the amount of figuring on there as well. It just looks absolutely incredible.
Very old. It's
guitar.
like the old building here you have here in the woods. So it smells very good. But we're making more limited editions. So next year we'll be doing like with other woods that we're trying to resource. And I select the wood myself. So it's a very, very personal touch instrument that I do everything on the selection of the wood.
Brilliant. Now let's take a look at the Magistral series.
Sure.
So this is the Magistral series then.
That's right.
Where do we start with these? Because there's lots of options with these. Top woods, back and side woods. Let's talk about an interesting feature actually we've seen on the last guitar, the armrest.
Yes. Well, this armrest, it's very interesting because it's good for when you're playing many hours, no stress on your arm. Plus, it's not glued on the top, it's glued on the edges of the binding.
Okay.
So we leave it free, the vibration of the top, all right? And as I said before, we want to change a little bit the classical guitar wall. When you see the guitars on the wall, oh, that's an MR, because we have the armrest and we have the MR logo that it's wood inlaid, not sticker, wood inlaid. And again, the same Moreno bridge, 12 holes, more pressure on the top with the vintage saddles, bone saddle, and compensated on the third string for the tuning. So this option is spruce top from Romania and cedar top from Canada.
Oh, brilliant. Something I noticed, the headstocks are different on these two models. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that's my grandfather headstock from the 1930s and 1905 before that. So this is our personal made guitar. We made this instrument with our hands. These are made with our luthiers. So to give the differences that the guitars that we make with our own hands and the team of luthiers, we do this headstock. Both headstock are trademarked in 60 countries. So no one can copy this headstock. Why? Because each guitar maker has his own design. And when you see on stage these headstocks, it's an MR guitar. So that's the reason why we protect our headstocks. It's important.
Absolutely. So let's have a look at the backs on these really quick. And you'll notice something when I flip that round. So the front is a satin finish.
That's right.
And the back is a glossy finish. What made you decide to do that?
Well, because the matte finish is so thin, it's good for the sound of the instrument. The thinner the finish is, the better will sound. And that is like French polish. Matte finish, and it's water also varnish, same like the back and sides. About the mahogany, this mahogany is the old mahogany of my grandfather. I have about 5,000 sets. And this is the guitar becoming also the Café Olé back inside. Same wood, but with matte finish.
And these are all solid throughout, aren't they?
Yes.
Which
yes.
is incredible at this, at this price as well. You can make a guitar that's all solid.
But made in Europe. I mean, okay, I like the China guitars, but what I don't like from them, they copy what we do. And I try to say, hey guys, we have the same price as China almost, made in Europe with very old wood and with the legacy of a brand of 118 years. So I need your help to spread this to your customers, like this video right now, to get this message of the wood and the history and the passion.
Absolutely. So what brand of strings do you use?
We use Hanawag strings made in Germany. Why? Because we found these strings are very high quality and hard tension. Other brands use more cheap strings. We like to put a higher quality string because when you start playing the guitar, more in classical guitars, you need a good reaction on the strings and a good selling point as it sounds. It's like when you buy a car, you need good wheels. Well, this is the same thing. You need good strings, especially on the beginning when you get the sale done.
That's incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh,
it's been
it's
great
a pleasure.
learning about
Thank
these
you for
models.
the invitation. Fantastic. God bless.
You too.